Hey, what's up, everybody? You are listening to everyone's favorite manga and anime podcast, lOsTAKUS. For those guys who don't know who we are, my name is Eric.
I'm JT.
And we're going to get into a different format of our videos now in terms of how we have everything set up. So now we have two extra mics, two new mics. Woo! And we're going to go ahead and do more of an actual podcast format for these videos in which we want to kind of go into depth about different subjects or something, right?
So this is just another project to add into the YouTube channel. We're still going to be doing reviews and stuff like that we've been doing for like the past 20 videos. That's crazy.
The big 2-0, guys. 2-0. If y'all haven't already, go check it out. Please go check it out. We have some good stuff on there. It
feels like yesterday that we started
this,
you know.
It's really,
and now
really
we're working
crazy.
up with better mics.
We got better mics.
We probably sound better.
You're gonna tell once it comes out that on the audio, you're gonna be like, man, JT got a sexy voice.
You're still more powerful than mine.
Yeah, so this is going to be different topics and everything. And on today's topic, we're going to go into the Shonen manga releases, the new Shonen manga releases, specifically Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, Dr.Stone, and
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Macadamia.
The top of the top. Aside from One Piece, but right now My Hero's like...
My Hero's up there. And if you continue on with this, when we get to that part, it's... Woo!
So spoiler alert, this is recent manga chapters. Not anime, we're not talking about the anime because the anime is like years behind, but recent manga chapters, just to make it clear. So if you don't want spoilers, then next time.
Yeah, just check out the next video.
But for this one, we're going to talk about the manga chapters that came out on this week. This is June 20th.
This week, actually last week as well, because we haven't talked about it. So this like, we're gonna get into some stuff here. So we'll go ahead and start off with Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen been on hiatus.
Well, it was announced that it was going on hiatus for a month, you said, right? So our boy Gege, who is amazing, not that he was forced, but that they recommended,
yeah,
for him to go on a hiatus. And you can tell because of chapter 150, I think it was, where we did talk about that one. We didn't talk about that like the recent two, but 3 chapters ago we did talk about that one where Mai gained her new abilities. No, wait, Maki gained her new abilities with the death of her twin sister Mai. Right? In that one, Maki just went total John Wick. She just John Wicked everybody and just murked everyone in her clan, in her family's clan.
Which is really messed up.
And there was a point where some of the drawings got really messy. And I will admit that I would never defend Gege, that he has amazing art. Any manga artist is really good. If they're getting publication and from an actual publishing company, you're decent or you're really good. When I rate a mangaka's art style, is basically comparing it to everyone else.
It's a comparison game. It really is a comparison game. And like, I know everybody loves their mangas and everything. They're like, oh, I have respect for like Bleach, or I have respect for like Hunter x Hunter, right? But everybody has differing art styles, and when you get to the point where you have these artists coming out with their stories and drawing them, there's gonna be competition, and that's just the way that it is.
And
it's just the way that it is.
You can tell the difference in artistic levels, and that's not saying that they're like really trash. I'm just saying that Gege isn't one of the best out there, especially since I think this is his first serialized publication. So let's say like Mashimoto, the creator of no wait, not Mashimoto, Fairy Tail's creator, Hiro Mashima. Hiro Mashima. Let's say like him. If you see one of his original mangas, Rave Master, compared to Fairy Tail, like even early Fairy Tail, to the Fairy Tail how it looks now, it was an evolution.
So it's a complete difference.
A true professional of their craft would want to improve on their craft, so you'll see that they get better. So Gege has quite a bit of work to do for me to say like, oh, he's as good as Oda, or he's as good as Kubo, who he is very much inspired by.
I'm on Twitter a lot, and I always see the comparisons between like Bleach and like Jujutsu Kaisen, and you'll see some people is like, well, Jujutsu Kaisen is awesome and Bleach sucks. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. But
I think that the comparisons are coming in now, not only because of the tone of the story. I wouldn't even compare it with that if Gege didn't say anything, but comparing Jujutsu Kaisen's tone with Bleach,
completely different. completely different tone.
Bleach set a tone early on, but then it just became a regular shonen action-packed series, while Jujutsu Kaisen just goes even deeper into the darkness, right? And Gege said that he was inspired by Kubo, and then they had an interview together in which they
talked about each other's manga, which is really crazy,
and compared each other's artwork. And then that's where Kubo got a little heat, because of basically womanizing his characters. Female characters, the way Kubo draws them is very, very different and voluptuous at times. So Gege, compared to Oda, like Oda has a specific way he draws his female characters, especially ones that he wants to emphasize. It's a Coke bottle, like the glass Coke bottle type of style. Gege has really, reading the manga, I kind of see that Gege has trouble drawing females. So I would never argue that he's like a great artist. But his monsters, the monsters that he draws, all the demons, great.
Yeah, they're
all the curses.
When I started reading Jujutsu Kaisen, I was just like, nah, man, these is creepy. Like these curses are like extremely creepy, and he did a really good job. And I thought those were like really, really good.
So I saw the inspiration there a little bit on Bleach with the hollows, where early on the hollows were kind of weird and creepy, but then they became cooler looking. And then you got the espadas, which are just humanoids and they just look cool and stuff. But Gege, the more stronger, the more creepy they look. Yeah, which is fantastic.
So for you guys out there, I'm not saying that Bleach like sucks, right? I love Bleach. I grew up with Bleach. It had a really strong impact on the way that I watched the anime and what I started getting into. You know, we're not trashing it. It's just me, right? You know, but there's a level of difference between stories, is what I'm saying. But the whole reason we're bringing up the whole art thing is because as we're going back to the chapters,
chapter 150, there was a point where his artwork was complete trash.
It was absolute trash compared to the rest of the manga. Well, the rest of the chapter itself. There were 2 pages that they were rough drafts. They were rough drafts.
But when we first saw it and we discussed about it, we had a few opinions on what could have happened. Like, my opinion was that he ran out of time. He had there was so much battles and so much fighting scenes, and I know those are hard to draw, and based on how Gege art is, I'm pretty sure he has a hard time drawing battle scenes. So that's why I theorized that, this dude probably ran out of time. Yours is what you wanted to happen was that there was a kid who used his power and it basically made him blind, right?
Something like, I don't know, it was some kind of visual Sharingan type stuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But like,
and then that's when everything became a rough draft.
Yeah. So I was thinking like, maybe it was his powers. He was trying to emphasize like a visual effect, like, man, like I got you all messed up.
It's like that would have been cool, but nah, I'm pretty sure this man just ran out of time. The only artist that I know that would do that would be Oda Sensei.
Yeah, Oda can have some like really like crazy drawings.
Anything that he messes up in One Piece when it comes to his artwork and someone points it out, he immediately comes up with an excuse, or he just retcons it. And he's like, nah, that door was broken at one point, but then it was fixed on the next panel because there's this guy that goes around and fixes things that are broken. And he legit made a character. And that character has shown up in times just so we won't forget.
Genius. What a genius, dude. But
professional.
That's professional right there. That's what we had theorized at the beginning when the chapter first came out, and then later on, lo and behold, the next volume or the next issue of Shonen Jump came out, and they have the author's comments on there, and he had stated on his comment, he's like, never again will I post. It's not word for word. I'm just going from memory, emphasizing what, kind of what he said. He's just like, I will never again submit a rough draft for a final.
At least he admitted it.
He admitted that he submitted a rough draft for the final.
Publicized manga.
Which takes some cojones to do that, but it just goes to show like he is struggling. And
so in the next chapter, when they announced that it was going to go on hiatus and he was going to take a month off, like you were probably surprised. I wasn't surprised because it looked like his artwork was deteriorating little by little, week by week. Yeah. So that one was like a low point, and he might have the will. The spirit might have the will to continue with his story, and he's in a really, really good part, and he just got off a big arc. Yeah. And he's picking up on that, and it's getting exciting, but the body's telling them no.
Yeah, so that's when you gotta. That's when I guess Shueisha jumps in and tells him, no pun intended, tells him is like, I think you might need a break, you know, because he does have the soul of like a mangaka, because he released a statement in which he's like, I didn't want to do this, but they're telling me like you need to take a break, even though as much as I want to continue on with my story, which is great, and it, you know, shows the fans like, man, he really cares about this story, but at the same time we don't want anything to happen to where like he can't continue on with the story, because you know that would be very, you know, that would be bad for him and his health. And it's just like, nah, man, you got to take your breaks. And that's why when mangakas need breaks, they have to take them. Even, you know, even if there's like some BS fans out there going like, no, why are they taking breaks, whatever, right? Nah, bro, screw those people. Spoiled people, bro. We don't need those type of people in the anime.
I'd rather
and manga
him get
community.
a break and come back refreshed and continue on,
exactly.
because the story is picking up. So good on his editor. So mangakas have an editor who's basically their sidekicks, and but or overseer,
or I would, yeah,
guardian.
Yeah,
they have a lot of things that they do for mangakas. But yeah, in this point, the editor was acting like a guardian and really stepped in and told him like, no, I think you really need a break. Where he left off was freaking amazing.
It was really amazing.
So for those that don't know, we have met Megumi's dad.
Yeah, Megumi's dad.
And he had no curse energy, no curse powers. He's a clean slate, just like Maki. And he was a tough dude. Mm-hmm. He was strong enough to take on Gojo in his youth, but still strong enough to take on Gojo. Yeah. That's saying something.
And even Gojo in his youth in the high school, he was still really strong. He was still ridiculously strong to where, yeah, that guy's the top.
So when season 2 releases, that's probably where they're gonna pick up with Gojo's story, because that's where the manga left off. And if it continued to a season 2, it would pick up with Gojo's past, and that's where you'll see Megumi's dad, which is insane.
Yeah, Toji, or Megumi's dad, he was granted a body that was enhanced essentially because of heavenly restriction, which heavenly restriction is their cursed power.
Yeah, basically you sacrifice all your no curse energy, but in turn you gain a astounding amount of endurance and physical strength.
Like ungodly amount. It's like, imagine, I guess for Naruto fans, like Might Guy unleashing his 8th gate and the last gate, but that's just Toji, and at all times without base strength without any repercussions of any sort. That's just him.
Cushion was his cockiness.
Yeah, his cockiness got to him, and it eventually led to his downfall because of Gojo, and Gojo, he's just a beast as well. But Toji left the craziest amount of impact on the Jujutsu world, and it's still felt to this day within the Zenin family as well.
And now Maki basically taking up that mantle.
Maki has taken up that mantle at the price of her sister's life, because essentially, because there's rules to how the Jujutsu world works, Mai was essentially, because they were twins, Maki had the attitude of wanting to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, while Mai was just like, no, like, this is it. Like, I don't want to keep getting stronger. I just want to stay me.
Maki wanted to advance in her family heritage, while Mai didn't. She actually didn't want to be part of anything that the family does, the family business of killing curses. Their personalities were so far apart, basically also affected each other's powers.
Yep. And we learned that, and Gege went and explained that when this chapter was released. And as you're reading through it, at the cost of Mai's life, Maki was finally able to reach her potential, and her full potential, and Mai left her a parting gift because of Mai's her ability as well to be able to, it was like creation, right? So she was able to create a sword for her, and her dying words was destroy everything. And essentially, for those that read Jujutsu and everything and are into the lore of it, whenever somebody dies and they have like their last parting gift, whether it's words or something, it's essentially looked upon as a curse to the person that they're talking to. Mai had cursed Maki with this and said, destroy everything.
In other words, kill the whole family.
Kill the entire family.
When that happened, we talked, and I'm all like, she just gained her power, so I don't think, because there's some pretty powerful guys there, that I don't think she's gonna go all out. I think she'll wait. But the next chapter, murks 99% of that family.
She started murking the entire family. That chapter where she gained her power, she actually killed her dad.
Yeah, her own father. Because hey he's the one that killed mine.
He was their father was the one that killed mine. He was gonna kill Maki too, and he was just like, and she was like, nope. And in a matter of like a second, cut off his head. So that chapter was really crazy and impactful because this is a shonen story. Like,
I know. Well, that's the route that Jujutsu took. Hey, have you been thinking like nowadays, like the top shonen stories, top shonen series are staying at the top because they're going into more darker themes?
I feel like that's the way that's
like before, like let's say Naruto, technically, and Goku, they technically haven't killed an opponent. Either they fought and they do talk no jutsu and work their way out of a battle. Goku beats down someone but doesn't essentially kill them, and if one of their enemies does die, someone else finishes them off, not Goku, in terms keeping them clean. But with Jujutsu Kaisen, no.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
And my hero hasn't gotten there. Well, we'll get to it later, but it's probably gonna get there. And that's why Jujutsu Kaisen is like standing out. The only other anime that has given me this feeling, and that this was decades ago, was Yu Yu Hakusho.
And a lot of people have compared Jujutsu Kaisen to Yu Yu Hakusho in terms of like the feel of it and how it felt reading or watching it. It's just like you have that darker undertone. And when I had recommended Jujutsu Kaisen to you, I had told you like there's just a really dark undertone from the very first chapter. There was like a really dark undertone to the whole story, to where I was like, man, I don't think this is gonna end well. Like, just speaking on the ending itself, it's just like, I don't think this is gonna end well for any of the characters, even our main character.
It's funny because I always saw that it was popular, and I've seen a bunch of these animes and mangas that are popular, and mainly Shonen. Shonen is basically for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's why Shonen animes are always the top, like Demon Slayer. Look how it took over the world.
Yeah.
Because it's a shonen, and those type of stories captivates everybody. It's the hero's journey. But I've read manga for decades. I've watched anime for longer than that. I started just exploring more into fantasy, other genres, fantasy, romance, and stuff like that. So I stopped reading shonen because I always knew that they're not gonna come down from the top. If everybody's watching it, I'll come back to it later. So I didn't read Jujutsu Kaisen when it initially came out, but I did watch it when the anime came out, and boy, is the anime beautiful.
Yep, the anime is really, really beautiful.
Not as much as Demon Slayer, but it's up there.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. So Studio Mappa, they're doing really, really good stuff. But yeah, it's just that dark undertone that's I feel like that's made it really popular, into where, going back to your topic about, shonen heroes not really killing, Yuji's already killed. Like, Yuji,
and I love that there was no cop out. He had no choice. He had to make a decision right there. Like others, like let's say even Deku, right? He has to beat down someone, and when they're too strong, he needs to hold back his power because he doesn't know how much he can release and how much it would end someone's life. He learns to control his power at those in big moments, in big fights. He learns to control his power. Yeah. But in this moment with Yuji, at the point where Yuji had to decide whether to take a life or not, he decided to. He knew that there was no going back.
Yeah. So that tone of the story has been there, and it's just been it's become unleashed as the story progressed, and it became unhinged when Maki chopped off her dad's head. It was the fact that he drew that out and you just see blood splatter. I thought that was just amazing. I was like, wow, like this story has evolved into something not shonen, to where I know it's released in Shonen Jump, but at this point I want to consider it seinen, because I'm like, it's not for kids.
Well, these last 3 chapters, just so much death.
So much death, man.
But even the past arc. Okay, so we're not gonna spoil that part because that's too much to get in that last arc.
Yeah, it's too
one
much
of my favorite arcs in Shonen history. Yeah. That last arc, there was quite a few deaths. So if you're a Jujutsu Kaisen anime fan, a lot side characters, not important characters,
the side
characters are gonna die, and it's amazing. Yeah. Like they don't go out just for nothing. They
go out with a purpose,
and it clearly shows you just how powerful Gojo is, because Gojo is taken out of the picture. That's why everything falls to pieces.
Yeah, it was a beautiful way they got Gojo out of there. We're not gonna spoil any of that for the fans out there. You'll see it coming up in
season
this next
2
season.
comes out. That's exactly where they're going.
Ooh,
I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it.
It's gonna be so good.
I read that arc twice already.
I've read it. I've gone back and read it twice because there's just a bunch of information that you had to go back and pick up, and
I just wanted to experience it again. It was really fantastic. It was really good.
Yeah, probably one of the best arcs that I've read.
But anyway.
But yeah, carrying on.
So again, well, for anime characters, you see Maki and you see someone that you can like one of the characters like Nobita respects, right? And it's like a big sister that you can look up to, and now that's just destroyed.
Yeah, her image is completely destroyed.
She's just Ghost Rider, just a vengeful spirit.
Yeah, or John Wick.
John Wick. Yeah, that's what I used.
So she essentially kills almost 99% of the clan, almost everybody, and even the higher level fighters, because the lower level Soldier A, Soldier B types are trying to hold her back, and absolutely no chance. The way that I can describe it is like that one scene in like Kill Bill when she's just like murking everybody. That's essentially what happens. She gets ganged up on, but she just murders all these people. And then they're like, oh, we need the higher class sorcerers out here to try to stop her,
and when they go, they see all the bodies,
and they're in shock, and it was just like savage. So she starts killing these guys too, and it was funny because the blind guy, he was blind, and he's like, oh, you did it. And because he thought his power was able to help one of the other her uncle, I think, finally kill her, and he's blind, so he can't see.
And she's walking with that dude's head. I'm like, oh, poor boy.
And he's like, you did it, but he can't see what's going on.
The thing is, I don't think they ever showed if she killed him, did they? Because he was just
there. So I don't know if he's
blood in his eyes,
or maybe she knew. She was like, he's about
useless
to die.
now.
Like, he's useless. So after she walks by him, she throws her uncle's head into the river thingy there, and that chapter ends with her facing off with Naoya,
the guy that wants to be the leader.
The guy who wants to be the leader, and his name's Naoya, and he's probably the most piece of trash person he's an absolute piece of trash person, bro. He is misogynistic AF, and he's just like, no. So
and he has the power of her grandfather, I think. Right?
Yeah, her grandfather, his dad. Yeah, her grandfather, his dad. So he has the same ability as his dad, which is really interesting ability.
Called 24 frames per second.
And essentially, he can entrap somebody in a frame and either speed them up or slow them down, depending on like how he's going to use his ability. So it's really interesting.
He has to touch them in order for it to activate that curse technique to activate, and then slows them down and keeps them in a still frame for 24 frames per second. Yeah. So in 1 second, you basically freeze in whatever movement you are. It's like a picture, and if you move, you turn into a picture, and then he could hit you or do anything.
So it's an actually really interesting ability. So next chapter comes in, and they're facing off, and they start going at it, and it was really funny how I really liked the way that the chapter started with a memory from Naoya when he was a kid, and he found out from the rest of the clan, he's like,
there was someone that didn't have cursed powers, yet was part of the family.
And it was funny because he was like, I can't even imagine how pathetic and useless this person's face must look. And he finally met this person,
and it was Toji.
And he saw his face. A shudder went down his spine. He was afraid for his life because he saw this man's face and he thought he was going to look pathetic. No, this man had the face of a killer. He had the face of confidence. He had the face of someone you don't F with. And it was just like, he was scared. For the very first time in his life, he felt fear. And I thought that was so beautiful. He's like, he had this image conjured up of a pathetic looking person, and it was Toji. And I was like, there you go, man. Like,
and that's why he wanted to defeat Maki, because he knows that Maki has the same ability, but they're not the same person. So she's not gonna be like him, and he's not gonna fear her. So he was going all out against her, and he was whipping her butt real bad. Well, it looked like it. And she was just taking all those hits, and she couldn't really move because his power was pretty insane at 24 frames per second. So not only does it work with him touching his opponent, but also it worked in another way where if he touches his opponent moves and they freeze, and then he hits him. But at the same time, it works on himself where it boosts his speed, and he was moving at 24 movements in a second,
which is really fast.
Maki figured this out. So when he came in for the finishing touch or for the finishing attack, finishing move, Maki
just wrecked him. So
one punch.
Yeah, or just one punched him in the face, because this whole time
Like her name is Saitama.
Maki's getting attacked. She's counting, and it shows in her speech, in her thought bubble, she's counting to see how his power works. And essentially she figured it out, punches in the face, and just leaves an entire just mark. And just I'm pretty sure he wasn't dead. No, he was unconscious.
And that's how that chapter ended with.
Yeah, and it was funny because like it reminded me of when Luffy punched Bellamy that one time.
Oh yeah,
he left the mark. And it was a beautiful callback to where Maki punched him in the face, because when he first met Maki again after what had happened, and he looked at her, he's like, like, you're not gonna have
a beauty contest.
Yeah, you're not gonna win any beauty contest with that face.
If you haven't read the mangas, Maki is scarred up, but she looks like a beast.
She looks like a beast.
She got burnt to a crisp and survived. So like she is burnt up, and Naoya, being the misogynistic MFer that he is, he's like, you're not gonna get a husband with that face. And literally now his face is messed up, and I was like, bruh, that was beautiful. Like, Gege, like you're doing. That's one thing about Jujutsu Kaisen that I really like. And kudos to Gege is the fact that he knows. It's not that he knows, and it's not his artwork either. It's the fact that he's writing them in a lot of female characters in prominent positions or prominent looks, and not in terms of how they look, but in terms of how they act and how they're perceived. So it's
within
pretty
the
cool.
Story. So,
yeah, but when you get a lot of Shonen where a lot of female characters are just left behind, because Shonen is young boys, so most Shonens, not all of them. Remember, not all of them are male characters, so it's a male perspective. Jujutsu Kaisen is doing well to keep it equal and just show some badass women.
Yeah, so shout out to Gege for that, and Jujutsu Kaisen for doing that, because like I've always felt like
difficult.
It's very difficult to do.
I've written scripts, and I always find writing women difficult, obviously, because I'm not. Also, you don't want to be writing women, and when you read it back, you're like, that's kind of stereotypical. Yeah. So it's difficult to write women when you yourself don't know that female aspect.
Exactly.
You gotta study it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm always impressed with mangakas, especially when they're males and they write pretty strong, cool and pretty strong women.
Yeah, because it's like what you think is cool, or what guys think is cool, right? So, but yeah, shout out to Gege for that, because it's like it's a game changer. It's a game changer within the story. Next chapter comes along, and it's just like
just finishing off, and it's just 10 chapters. This is the point where he's taking a break, so it's only 10 chapters, 10 pages.
It's only 10 pages. It was
really short.
Long. It was really short.
It was just to close off that little arc. He didn't want to go out without closing this chapter of Maki's story.
Yep.
And yeah, it starts off with her saying, "Mother, wait." I'm like, oh, we didn't know nothing about her mother. Like, her dad was trash because he killed his own daughter and was trying to kill her as well. But the mother, we've never seen her. She was probably the housewife only. Yeah. But yeah, she got it too.
Yeah, her mom got it too. And it was funny because she had said some really terrible stuff within those pages, and then I guess kind of like Maki left her for dead, and before she died.
Well, I was kind of interested that she told her mother, "Why did you tell me to come back?"
Yeah.
She asked her mother, why did you tell me to come back? But we didn't get a reply. Yeah. We just, it left off there. And the next time we see the mom, it was freaking crazy. That's when we see that.
Naoya.
Yeah,
that piece of trash. You don't need to remember it because he's a piece of trash.
Yeah. But that's when we saw that he was still alive and he was crawling. And then we see her mom, and she was bleeding from her neck, but she had a knife. And she said that she was happy that she gave birth to them, and then she stabs him.
And she stabs and she kills Naoya.
I kind of didn't get that moment because she has no curse power, so it's not like she could puppeteer her mother. What do you think?
I'm pretty sure she was still alive, and maybe she just held some sort of resentment for Naoya or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The family, and
the family. Sure. So she was just like, "I'm taking one of these members out."
But the mom was like, her neck was bleeding.
Yeah, so she was bleeding profusely.
Again, pretty dark for Shonen.
Yeah, very dark, and she ends Naoya's life, and that's the last page that we get. So,
and then that's when we got a Gege's statement of him taking a break. He's like, "I'll be back, Sims."
Yeah, look out for that when that comes back. Hopefully he rests up and gets the rest that he needs.
Yeah, I can wait. I can wait.
Absolutely, we can wait. Yeah,
that.
very, very satisfied.
Yeah, but more importantly is that he gets better. Like if Oda ever says he has a cough, I'm like, dude take the week off.
Take the week off, bro.
Oh, this Wano has been taking years, but I don't care. Like it's just getting better and better. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like
segueing to One Piece is speaking of that, when we're speaking of greatest animes of all time, greatest mangas of all time, greatest series of all time in terms of animes and mangas, I feel like we can say any other from current or past. Honestly, I don't see how people could argue One Piece. Like
literally,
you can argue One Piece and that's your opinion, but honestly, it's been going on for 20 plus years, and the reason I will always say that One Piece is the best anime / manga that has ever happened is because 20 plus years, and when something new happens consistently, it still gets people hyped.
Yep.
That's insane to me.
That's extremely hard to do.
Like nothing against Dragon Ball Z, that took breaks, and then you get new powers, then you get new villains, and then now you're going with gods and angel powers, and you know, new abilities. And yeah, your love for Dragon Ball Z has been there, and if you've been a fan since you were a kid, and now that you're a grown ass person, you you still love it. And when Battle of the Gods came out, you were so hyped. You had like a good clean break.
Yeah,
it was like a breath of fresh air to get a show that you love so much back, and he's doing a pretty decent job. But I just see One Piece, and it's just been consistently good, and it kept people into the story throughout decades, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to people, and I'm always curious to hear someone's favorite anime of all time. Like my favorite anime of all time is not One Piece, it's Code Geass. But I will still say that One Piece is the best of all time.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that it's still pretty cool. Like it's just still pretty solid. It's a pretty solid story. It's a pretty solid story, and it's a pretty solid journey for Luffy and the crew. And it's been consistent for 20 plus years, and it's almost insane that can happen.
Yeah, it's very insane that can happen, and it just goes to show like that takes creator of a brilliant mind to be able to accomplish that feat off, because there's always consistently every year we're getting new animes or new mangas, and you know, one of these can, you know, lead to the next big thing, right? But One Piece is able to stay relevant all the time and just overthrow whatever competition there is. Like, even not just based on feelings, but if you go and look at the sales for One Piece consistently with their volumes, they're always up there. Like, yeah, sometimes their volumes may fall off, but they'll fall off to like second or third place, like maybe fourth at worst or whatever, right? But I may be wrong about that. There might have been a time One Piece was like fifth or sixth or something, but for the most part, every time I see the sales for the volumes come out, it's consistently either at one, most of the time, like 90% of the time, or at two. It falls behind,
usually
right?
Top three,
but usually top three all the time. So it's ridiculous that you're still able to do that and continue the story the way that's been going and keep people hype and keep people interested with it. And it's just been a really long journey for One Piece to where it's gotten to where it is now. And where it is now, we have reached the climax of the Wano arc, or we're in the climax. We're currently in the climax, because I wouldn't say it's reached the climax. It's getting to the climax, because the climax has already happened. It's just still in that zone of what I consider a climax to be, and it hasn't fallen off. It's at the top of the hill, and the top of the hill seems pretty long before it drops back down.
It's what One Piece has been now recently. Like the more they travel, the more stronger opponents that they fight, the more characters are involved. Because again, it's not like Luffy at even 20 years of a journey. Well, not in the One Piece world.
Yeah.
But 20 years that we've read One Piece, Luffy still can't defeat everybody. He still needs help, and in these past few arcs he has been getting help from a lot of people. So it becomes a big brawl. They've been pretty big brawls, but I think this one might be one of the biggest brawls that he's done.
Absolutely, I would agree with that, mainly because like he just gained a new power. Like big old spoiler, he just gained a new power.
Learning not really a new power, but learning how to reuse the Conqueror's
there you
haki.
go. Yeah, that's right. He has gone more into depth of a power that he's
Yeah.
already had, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
He's just
he,
using it in a different form.
exactly.
That Kaido is using, and he figured out, like, after taking a lot of hits from Kaido, he's all like, oh, I get what you're doing.
Yeah.
I get why you hit so hard.
And that, bro, like, not many main characters of battle stories are willing to take hits like that. So Luffy purposely takes hits to figure out why their punches or why their attacks are doing what they're doing. He'll purposely let himself
And
get
if you've
hit.
seen Luffy battles, or if you've read, watched, or whatever, but through Luffy's battles, he learns that way. He learns the hard way because Luffy knows that he's dumb. He knows he's not a critical thinker, so he learns in battle using his body.
Yep. And that's the most beautiful way I've ever heard anybody put it. Like, yeah, Luffy takes a lot to know that you're dumb. like, but he admits it. He's like, I don't think. For those people that are like, well, Luffy needs to think. No, Luffy doesn't think. Luffy just goes in there and he puts his body on the line, and then he realizes, yo, like, this is what I need to do. He acts. So, and essentially that's what he did, and he learned how to use his Conqueror's Haki in a different form. And he essentially became Gojo, and he's like, you won't be able to touch my infinity. Lo and behold, and this is beautiful of Oda to do, it wasn't enough. It was not enough for the world's strongest creature,
and
Kaido.
that's how it should be. When a new character gains or unleashes a new power, there should always be, it shouldn't work like instantly, and if it does, then that it was a one shot, not kill, but a one shot move.
Yeah.
It's not like you mastered it at the moment. You just learned it. So that it's not a miraculous thing like, oh, I'm gonna win now. Luffy so thought I'm gonna win. Just tell everybody I'm gonna win. Next chapter, he's falling off.
He gets thrown off the island by Kaido, and it was just like, bro, like, that was wild. I was shook because Oda made me think like, man, Luffy got this in the bag. You forget chapters and chapters and chapters and chapters ago, when they first introduced Kaido, Oda gave him a little monologue type deal of the whoever I guess narrates One Piece in the One Piece world, whoever that person is. He literally states in a one-on-one fight, always bet Kaido. When your creator of the story tells you when it comes to fighting this guy one-on-one, you always want to bet him because he'll always win, that takes away the plot armor for your main character. Like, then and there, it's just like, your main character will not win against him one-on-one, and this is exactly what happened. He had Luffy lose, and Luffy got chunked off the island. And people, I'm telling you, JT, people on Twitter, they were pissed. They were upset. They were just like, how can Luffy lose? I'm like, bro, Oda told you why he lost. Chapters ago, he told you why he lost.
Don't bet on Kaido.
Don't
bet against Kaido.
Don't bet against Kaido on a one-on-one fight because they will lose. So I'm like, I don't know why y'all upset. Oda told us.
And it makes sense. It's like, again, he just learned a new power. He hasn't mastered it. So it doesn't make sense if he wins automatically.
And this is why Oda remains the top of the top of the top
storytellers
in storytellers and in the manga world, is because of this. He knows how to effectively write his characters to where they're just not doing freaking ass pulls of like, oh, Kurama, help me out because I'm losing. No disrespect to Naruto fans out there, but you gotta admit, that's what that was. He's like, I'm losing. Kurama, come out here and help me out, dog. No, get that BS away from me, bro. Was it cool? Yes, it was cool. Naruto got a new form. Let me win now. But with Luffy, it's like, nah, dude, you're gonna lose, and I'm gonna chunk you off the island into the ocean that will kill you because you have a devil fruit and you can't swim. That's added insult to injury.
And you called it because we did a few how is Luffy gonna get out of this situation, and you said the only way you can see it if Lost Crew, who has a submarine, finds him. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that. And literally, that's what happens next chapter.
Next chapter, Luffy's drowning and Lost Crew finds him. And that was at the end of the chapter that they find him. Kaido announces to everybody.
That was the first time that it's crazy because
he announced to the whole island. He's like, yeah, your commander, Luffy, he's lost, bro. He's dead. I threw him off.
That's another new thing in this battle, particularly because I don't think it's ever been announced, like a formal announcement by a big boss battle where someone announces their victory to try to lower the morale of the others.
And he did it.
And so some of them were
they were hurt. They were just like, can we win? Like, this is this has been a big blow to the rest of the army at Onigashima. They're just
The
like,
only ones that weren't deterred was the Straw Hats.
yep. Well,
Sanji and Zoro immediately
nah, that's not happening. Our captain's gonna win. We know it. Chopper being Chopper, he was like, he lost. Like, no. But Sanji is like, bro, how many times? You know Luffy, bro. We're gonna get out of this.
Meanwhile, Nami and Usopp were just running away from Uti.
Yeah.
Uti was chasing him. Uti is this. She has a devil fruit that transforms into part dinosaur, and she has a hard head. So
Literally.
she was chasing him down, and they are weak, so they couldn't take her down. They tried, they couldn't.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Big Mom is also running besides them, and now they're freaking out because Big Mama Yonko is also next to them.
Yeah.
Big Mom was under the power of a little girl named Otama, and so I think she's still under that influence, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Would
say,
you say that?
No, Big Mom is just cares about her. I wouldn't say like she's under the influence.
Her name is Big Mom. Big Mom. Of course, she would be a motherly figure, so that's why she would be caring when it comes to a child.
Yeah, but when it came to Usopp and Nami, she's like, nah, y'all still dead. I'm gonna kill y'all. Like,
so when she saw Uti and she did an attack which hurt Otama, Big Mom turned against Uti, and then she attacked Uti.
Yeah.
Credit to Uti, she got back up from a Big Mom attack.
yeah, which is,
But anyway, she grabbed on Otama, and then Usopp and Nami were freaking out because it's Big Mom.
yeah, she was like, what? This is crazy.
They tried to fight just for like a quick second. Nope. They're like, nope, well, we're done. We're screwed.
But everybody was feeling the hurt from the morale, but everybody, Momonosuke was finally able to talk, and we found out another interesting ability that Luffy has had, and he started to learn how to use, which is the voice of everything, or I think that's what it's called. But essentially he was able to still speak through his mind, like kind of
almost telepathic with
Momonosuke, because Momonosuke also has that same ability, and I guess it has to do with the will of the D, and then, or the D people, and then also the Kozuki clan that also had it, because Odin also had that ability. Roger also had that ability, but it's been the first time that somebody's been actually able to use it, and Luffy, being in the state that he was able to communicate to Momonosuke and tell him, it's like, hey, tell them I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna win.
I'm drowning, but I'm gonna get out of this situation somehow. I can't swim.
Momonosuke was able to do that because he was able to escape Kaido at the cost of Kanjuro's life.
You think he's dead?
I say
like,
that
he got a big attack. Like his what was Kaido's
Ragnarok? He hit him with the Ragnarok right on top of his head. And then the main reason I say he's dead is because when he got stabbed, Oda purposely drew it in black and white. You saw it was almost like a shadow. And from what I've seen,
and if folks haven't read manga is drawn in black and white.
Yeah. Well, I meant like shadow, like is what I was trying to say.
Just like completely dark. Yeah, I get what you're saying,
dark.
but I'm like, when you say black and white, manga is black and white, bro.
It was like a shadow, and from what I've seen, that's the same way Odin died too. They didn't show the bullet going through his head.
It's all black.
It's all black, and you saw it, and that's why I think Kanjuro is dead too. Because I'm like, he took that Ragnarok to the face, bro, and then Kaido stabbed him, bro. Like he was already hurt.
That's true.
Kaido stabbed through him. I'm like, and he said, "Die a warrior's death," and he did die a warrior's death. So I think
that would be a warrior's death. So I'm not saying it's nice for him to go out that way, because honestly, he's a pretty cool character, pretty funny character, and almost seems like a father figure to Momonosuke. So I wouldn't want to see him, but if that's how he goes out, pretty G.
Yeah, pretty G, dude. And so like that's how he went out. I feel like knowing the way that he does death,
where this whole thing is going, everything is just falling apart. I wouldn't be surprised. Plus, it'd be pretty lame if you have such a big battle like this and you didn't have some allies go down.
Yeah, that's true.
Bleach.
Momonosuke was able to escape. He was able to tell everybody Luffy's gonna come back. So.
And then Kaido came in and grabbed him.
Yep. And then he was able to escape, and then Yamato ends it. Well, the chapter ends with Yamato looking at her, or at his dad, and saying, yeah, I'm gonna stop you because Luffy is the guy that Odin was waiting for.
And for those that don't know who Yamato is, she basically imagined Nami with horns.
Yeah. So. But like Yamato essentially thinks of herself as Odin, so
she refers to him Ore. in terms in Japanese,
So
where it's like a male referring to himself.
yeah, so Yamato is technically, she's a girl, but thinks of herself as a guy. So the way that Oda has been referring to Yamato is as a he, and then also Luffy, when he speaks with Yamato, Luffy also refers to Yamato as a he, because that's what Yamato considers
Luffy, I
himself
think,
as.
is because the way she was speaking, and I think that's how he easily communicated with him. It's
Yeah.
not like he thinks too deeply of it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay,
so
so
he was
you're
just
like this. I'm gonna
I'm just gonna refer to you like you think
But
you're.
there's a lot of characters, especially Odin's
Mhm.
his elite squad. They refer to Yamato as a her, not as a him. Like they
Oh
don't.
yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
don't
true.
like. There's some people that don't respect the way
Yeah.
she wants to be referred to as. So.
Yeah, so
But she faced off with her dad.
it was just like
It's gonna be
whoa.
dope.
And then the next chapter came through, and we got a little surprise from the baton or Nami's
with
staff.
Nami. So they did manage to escape Big Mom because of Kid. Kid comes in for the save
Mhm.
right when Big Mom was gonna attack. Kid came in and told him to buzz off, so they did. And right when they're running, Ulti comes back. So again, credit to Ulti. She took a big hit from Big Mom, and still came back.
She's a G, bro.
And then she grabs Otama again, and then Nami goes in for the strike again because she hated that Ulti hit Otama, and the fact that she grabs him again, she's like hands off, and then her staff. Well, even before then, she already knew that her staff had
Start
Zeus,
talking.
which was a weapon of Big Mom. So when Nami took Zeus before this battle happened, she made a new one called Hera. Again, Zeus and Hera, right? Wife and a husband. She had Hera eat Zeus, and before Zeus could be completely eaten, he left a piece of his soul in Nami's baton. So now he lives within Nami's baton, which is hilarious. So now Nami's baton can be animated thanks to Zeus.
Yep.
So she releases this Thunderbolt strike, and it's funny because she's all like, Zeus is all like, yeah, but you can give me a new name. And she's thinking about it, and she's all like, she's One Piece specifically. I read, and we can have a pirate conversation, whether you pirate anime, manga, reasons why or not, why not to. But I'm just gonna say one quick reason here is the reason I have the Shonen Jump app. So, you're not supporting the industry. I am. I read both the Shonen Jump version and I read the from a pirate.
translated.
Yeah, fan translated. I prefer the fan translation because I feel, especially when it comes to One Piece fans, they're more in tune and know that it's pretty important to translate it as close as possible and in a way that portrays the character how it should be, how that character should be portrayed. It's consistent with the story and with how the portrayal of the character. The fan translated version, Nami said cotton, and in the Shonen Jump one, she said fluff. Come on. So I prefer the cotton one, the fan translated one, where she said cotton. And again, this is why translation is important. In the fan translation, she said he turns to Ulti and he's, I am Zeus.
He did not accept
He's
her
like
name.
right hand man of Nami. And then Nami's all like, let's do this. So that was funnier to me, but because basically he just ignored the fact that he called her cotton. But in the Jump translation, she said fluff. And then he says, I am Zeus, right hand man of Nami. But Nami says, what? Well, Zeus it is. Let's do this. I'm like, that's a little too much. Yeah. It's funny it was funnier with the gag if they completely just ignored the fact that she called him something lame.
Yeah.
So
now I would put Nami's instant battle. Now her battle ability has been raised. Like,
because
she is
it's
no longer,
it's not her based human strength. Now she has a
stronger weapon. And now she has left the other trio, the weak trio of Chopper and Usopp. So I don't care what y'all guys say. Nami has now, because she has Zeus, and it
was proof with this attack when she did her Thunderbolt attack, it missed, and Zeus, he's all like, it's my job to make sure that our attack hits, and just followed her. So basically, she has instant strike.
So I was
if Zeus can hit.
Yeah, if Zeus can hit. So I was like,
that's
immediately.
Pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, her battle ability went up.
And we were planning to make a video for the top 100 worldwide voting by the fans, top 100 One Piece characters. but we never got to it. And Nami was number 3.
Nami was number 3.
My top 3, I told Eric, like, I don't care about the whole list. I just want to know the top 5 or even the top 3 match my top 3. And it was the exact match. Luffy, Zoro, Nami.
And that was worldwide. So they took in votes from the entire world. And that's what the final results came were. Luffy, Zoro, and Nami were the top 3 characters. That happened. That was probably like one of the biggest things that happened there.
Another big thing for me was the fact that Yamato instinctively said that, or more clearly, she said that she's going to travel the seas with Luffy.
So
I'm like, did they just gain a new? I know Luffy wanted 9, specifically 9.
Exactly.
And with different jobs in his crew, and now Yamato just involved herself in there. What's her role? Warmonger? I don't know.
The muscle.
But we haven't seen her fight yet. Yeah. So see, she said that she knows that she can't beat Kaido. So I know I can't beat you. I'm just here to stall time for Luffy. I'm like, well, there you go. That's a crewmate right there. Yeah. Someone you can trust.
I'm pretty sure we'll get to see her abilities in the next chapter. Role. So, but yeah, that was a really, really interesting quote there. So I don't know, for you Rabbit fans out there, nah, that's not gonna happen. Freaking what's her name? The Rabbit chick, the one they've had on the quote unquote.
Oh, Carrot.
Yeah, for you Carrot fans out there, that's not happening.
I honestly am one of those Carrot fans, but even I don't believe. Yeah. I'm a Carrot fan. I just don't believe that she's gonna join the crew.
Sorry, it's not gonna happen.
Her Sulong ability is cool, but it's only really during a full moon. Only during a full moon. That's not every day.
So yeah, like we need to have a powerhouse. So
and that might be Yamato. She knows her abilities. Like she said, she's not gonna defeat Kaido, but she's confident that she can hold them off. So yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I was on break this week, so we'll get chapter next week's chapter. But Dr. Stone has been really
consistently wild. Insane. So again, dark undertones in Shonen. Dr. Stone. Again, spoilers for Dr. Stone, but everybody was getting murked. When that was going down, I was so surprised. They were getting shot up. Everybody was dying left and right. I was like, this is insane, dude. Even some people like Tsukasa, I'm like, that dude ain't dying. Kohaku, she ain't dying. I'm like, I told Eric, they got shot up like an hour ago and they're probably bled out to death, but I believe plot armor will save the day. But most likely they were dead at that time. Yeah. And then later on, we find out that the Medusa, they're basically immortal. Plot armor forever.
Plot armor forever. And it's essentially, they find that out.
That's a smart way to do plot armor.
Yeah. So they essentially find that out because they were reviving. Well, Suika, main girl Suika was reviving everybody.
Two chapters of Suika's solo journey.
It's great, bro.
The youngest and the smallest character.
And he did a really smart way to do a time skip. I'm like, that's a beautiful way to do a
just
time
skip. Just the picture drawing of her adventure. Bro. It was great.
It was great. It was so heartwarming. But she was finally able to revive everybody because everybody got frozen.
But it took her 7 years.
Suika
is basically the same age as them now.
Yeah. She is the MVP of this freaking story. I don't care what you say.
She's still lowly. She's still shorter than everybody, but she's the same age as everybody.
She is the MVP. So she essentially wakes everybody up, and then
Senku first, obviously.
Yeah, Senku was the first one, and it literally took him not even an hour, or not, like maybe an hour and a half to do everything she
took
did
her 7 years
to do in 7 years.
That's so sad.
But it's Senku, it's our MC, and he is smart as hell. So like, of course, it's only gonna take him like a few minutes to do it. So they revive everybody, and then they revive Hyoga, and Hyoga was absolutely
even
dead.
Tsukasa's like, Hyoga's dead.
Yeah, so everybody knew like he got shot up bad, and they were like, he is dead.
And then that's when they figure out like
they figured it out. They poured the revival fluid on him, the nitric acid on him, and he was alive. And they're like,
and then that's when he summarized instantly. Is like, yep, we're basically immortal. Yep. Like if you die and we turn you into a statue and then we put nitric acid on you, no matter what the injury, as long as we have your body parts, you'll come back to life.
And
so they just need to have all the body parts.
And then now they've teamed up with Dr. Zeno. So
Who was the villain?
who was the villain? They teamed up with him, but that's
Smart move.
that's a typical shonen thing. Shonen
Team up
characters
with the
tend to
villain.
team up with the villains
With
or
a
their-
previous villain to
Mhm.
continue the journey, like Bleach, they team up with Aizen
Aizen, yeah.
to
So,
take down.
but I love the way how extra Dr. Zeno is. Like, I love the monologues that they give him, because there was one monologue that I really liked from him once they woke him up and they were talking about it. And he's like, now we have two science users, a science user of the light, which is you, Senku, and a science user of the dark. And he's super flamboyant. He's just like, I will gladly take the role of the villain. I was like, this guy, bro, he's so extra. But it was beautiful because it's like, because he is essentially the same as Senku, except like
that
he's
was his senpai, his
Yeah,
sensei,
his sensei,
his
that was
teacher.
his sensei. So he respects science for what it is, and he loves science. And every time, like how Senku says, "Oh, this is getting excited," he says like science is majestic or something like that. And I'm like, bro, this
But
is...
the big difference is the fact that Senku kept his morality. No matter what he does, he knows there's a line he shouldn't cross. But
Zeno's like, there is no line.
Yeah.
When it comes to science, you need to cross that line. Whatever boundaries, there should be no morals involved with science. Science should be in its purest form without morals. And that's where the line is drawn between the science user of light and the science user of darkness. And they figured out, well, our next shot is to the moon, like, because that's where the
There's
Y
someone
man
up
is. That's where this guy who's doing all this and made all this is living. So they're currently trying to build space rockets in a stone
spaceship.
world.
Yep.
But they were able to reuse parts from one of the ships to build a bigger ship that travels ridiculously fast.
They build that rocket engine.
Oh yeah.
And that's how they're now able to travel pretty fast. So again, the last arc, they split into 2 teams. Now this arc, they split into 3 teams.
3 teams.
Where one is gonna build the spaceship, one is gonna
Dr. Zeno's team.
Yeah, Zeno's team is gonna build the spaceship. The spaceship itself. And the other team is gonna build Corn City.
Yeah, and that's
And
Taiju's group.
Yeah, and now Senku and crew are just gonna go
Collect materials
in
Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona.
So they're currently on their way to Barcelona
in the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah, they're currently looking for a specific mineral that they'll need to build all that stuff. So, but now they have a fast-moving ship, so it's cut down in time.
Yeah. Last time it took them like 40 days to travel throughout sea, and now it's gonna take them less than a week.
Yeah, less than a week.
Great.
So the power of science, and that's why this is probably one of the best mangas out there.
It's a lot of dialogue because of all the explanation, but it's still fun.
It's still fun, and the creator's able to keep you entertained with this story. And that's a very, very difficult thing to do with the shonen if there's not a battle in there.
Yeah.
It's a heavy dialogue, but he uses that curiosity that was inside of you when you were a kid, or, you know, because some people lose that curiosity, but for the most part, when you're a little kid, you're always curious about how stuff works. In science class, like, oh, how does this happen? So he uses that feeling of curiosity.
If you get this and this, you make this. He oversimplifies it, even though it is complicated, but then he exaggerates how easily it is to make. You know, it's still fun to see.
So
it's like, wow, it's sometimes crazy the things you learn there, right? Like Bill Nye the Science Guy ain't got nothing on Dr.Stone.
Senku, for real, bro. Like, no science teacher. I learned this from Senku. Like, I know what you're talking about.
But that's pretty much it for Dr. Stone. Yeah. It's because there's just so much dialogue.
It's a lot of dialogue.
And it was mainly Suika's little picture journey on her 7 years trying to get to recreate the nitric acid. So not a lot went down in Dr. Stone, but it's just before this. Like, if we went before this,
it's a lot.
So much was going on. Everybody was dying. It was crazy. Everybody got shot. Even Senku got shot. Oh, and again, Shonen Jump doesn't like. Well, I wouldn't even say Shonen Jump. It's just more like when Shonen Jump animes get rebroadcasted in America. America has a lot of limitations. Like, you don't want to show kids getting shot. But Dr. Stone, you ain't got no choice.
But
now moving on to the top. So, like I said, when someone asks me what's the best anime or manga series of all time, I will say One Piece, but it's not my favorite. But there's no way I can argue that it's One Piece all time. But if you ask me who is or what series is at the top right now, My Hero specifically. And for all of y'all anime My Hero watchers, the second half of season, what is it, 5? Yeah. Right? The second half of season 5, My Villain Academia,
Oh, about that though.
Dude, it goes dark and it's gonna be.
What
cool.
about that?
I know.
You saw the promotional trailer?
Yeah, but the promotional trailer isn't. The promotional trailer is just promoting the part with when they study under Endeavor, the Endeavor agency little thing. But that's only a small part. The My Villain Academia, that big Liberation Army war. So from what I've read, because I was curious, because they were just only promoting Endeavor, and yeah, that's next. While that's going on, the Liberation,
it happens around the same time.
It happens right there. From what I'm seeing, that it has 25 episodes this season. They're totally gonna go with it.
No, it only had 13 episodes.
No.
Oh, you mean sorry, the first part. The first part.
Yeah. So this one's gonna have 12 or 13, so 26.
But how much can it actually fit in there? Is the point.
So here's why you know why it's gonna happen, because the seiyus did an interview on the second half of the season.
Oh, really?
Yes, and the seiyu said, "We just finished recording some of the episodes. Are we sure that My Hero's not gonna be coming to a morning show and not gonna turn into a night show?"
Oh,
so
yes.
They already recorded some of the
that's good.
Darker sides.
The main reason I was worried about is because this last episode that just aired, the final part of the first core,
not really
it started. No, everything was canon, but it started with Shigaraki walking out of the town with his white hair, and he was bleeding and he was laughing.
Oh, I think that was just a
like,
little premonition of what's to come.
So I'm just like, why
it's
would
how
they
it
put
ends?
That in? Yeah,
it's how it ends. They just sound like incoming. You know, something bad is about to happen.
So yeah,
it gets crazy. And this is when I knew that My Hero took the cake. There's nothing topping My Hero. When I read this, what was it, like 2 years ago?
That part?
Yeah, that part. It was
might
like
have been 2 years ago.
But about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, when that arc started coming out. It feels like forever ago, dude. But it changed the game. It changes the tone of the series.
Because that season that's coming up literally is called My Villain Academia, and it's the first time in any shonen that you've taken time away from your main character and the heroes to focus on the villains and give them a training arc. Never before done, or at least from what I've seen.
And not even only a training arc, but like their backstories, their reasoning of why they do what they do, and like even just to give you a reason to care for a villain. And honestly, when it was all said and done, I was like, honestly, let's go back to them. Their journey, their reasoning it feels so much better than the heroes learning in schools. Forget school. I want to go back to them.
So I was like, that's gonna be a game
I kid you not, when this arc ends and we go back to the kids, I feel like I got bored. Like, I don't want to learn about Deku anymore. I don't want to learn in school. Get me out of here.
Dang.
Let's go back to Shigaraki and the crew.
But now you wanna
But I'm gonna see.
Deck is important now compared to these last couple of chapters.
I'm a big fan of My Hero, and like I said, I'll always praise it. Nothing like it, and the anime is fantastic. But I don't watch it consistently. It's like One Piece. I don't watch the One Piece anime anymore. I only watch it for moments. Like, I've read it, and that's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't need to watch it, but I do want to see, like, the last episode of One Piece. Beautiful.
Oh, you saw it?
Really beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Like, oh man. But My Hero, I binge it. Once it's done, I binge My Hero.
Yeah.
Like, I've already read it. I remember it clearly. So I'm pretty excited to see this arc.
It's going to be really good. But where we left off on the chapter was Lady Nagant got blown up. That too, but wait on that, because that's literally the same thing that I got. With that, damn, Lady Nagant gets blown up because of All for One.
So if you're on Twitter, if you're on social medias, then you probably would have heard of Lady Nagant. Like, I saw that she was blowing up. She was pretty cool. Like, this is the dark side of this little hero world that My Hero Academia lives in. And Lady Nagant and Hawks. We started with Hawks, but now you get the pre-Hawks, or his teacher, which Lady Nagant was basically an assassin within the heroes, the hero HQ, and she was sent to do the dirty work.
And she gets blown up, and Deku is beyond pissed at this point because he is like, you really used her, and you just used her,
and then threw her away like trash.
And
right when she was turning sides.
yeah, right when she was about to turn sides, because Deku in his hero heart was able to convince, and that's why Deku
Someone
is the best
who lost
hero.
all hope, and Deku was able to give hope back to her.
That's a true mark of a hero right there. It was crazy that we got to see in that same chapter. We got to see what's his name? I forget his name.
And well, here's another thing about the heart of a hero with Deku. It's not like Naruto, and I will always compare it with this, because Naruto had to do a long rant to change someone's mind, Pain and the other villains, to get them. Yeah, they had to go through a long story. Deku is Deku was like, hey, I haven't given up. Why are you giving up? You were a hero once, and I'm a hero now, and I'm way younger. Like, we can't give up. I won't give up, and I'm the future.
Yeah.
And so that chick is like, okay. And well, Lady Nagan.
Yeah, Lady Nagan
was
is
like
dang.
The conviction in his eyes is what
changed her. And then right before she got blown up, she's like, "You're the real deal, kid." I was like,
and then boom. Oh, dude, when I saw the cracks in her face, I'm like, what's going on? And then
so I was like, ooh. Yeah, so at this point, Endeavor and the rest of the heroes meet up with Deku, and Deku's explaining what went down, and they were able to get some information from Lady Nagan saying that in 4 months she was supposed to take Deku to this mansion. So they're like, all right, 4 months pass or something. They get there. I think there's a gap there. So they get to the mansion, and Deku just
Endeavor
rushed.
and the other ones were oh no, this is before that. I'm jumping ahead.
Never
mind. I think this just skips straight to them going to the place.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it does.
And then Deku goes in head first
and
alone.
Endeavor was telling him, Deku wait, and he did not listen. He went in there, and lo and behold, nobody's there but a recording of All For One saying, "Ha, gotcha." Basically is what he said. Gotcha. Ain't nobody here. And the thing that I found beautiful was at the end of that chapter, he said, oh, well, he was giving him this whole monologue about how he wasn't interested in All Might anymore because he's a loser now. Now I'm interested in you, but you've chosen a really difficult path. I'm gonna mess with you. Because
this difference between me and Shigaraki is not what he said, but it's basically what it tones down. Shigaraki is just someone who is chaos incarnate, and he's causing chaos. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, All For One is someone who is very, very precise and vindictive with his strategies.
Yep.
He's someone who plans things and does things step by step. Where Shigaraki went all in and all out with his attacks. All For One's are like, nah, bro. I'm gonna mess with you little by little.
Yeah,
I'm gonna break you down.
He's like, I'm gonna make you suffer.
Scary, dude. You forget how scary All For One is.
And the convention in Deku's eyes did not change, but he was pissed. And then I love the fact that Horikoshi did this, and in the TV he's like, and now it's your turn. And I was like, and the thing blew up. And I love that because it was so freaking beautiful when All Might finally finished beating him. He turned to the TV camera and he said,
he called back.
He's like,
back to that moment.
Yep. He's like, it's your turn. And he's like, and now it's your turn. And Deku's like, it's my turn to finally take up the mantle. And now All For One said it. He's like, now it's your turn.
So with that one, Deku was crying because it was a very heartwarming moment. It's like your hero, the person that you looked up to, is passing on the mantle to you. Mm-hmm. So that's very like heavy. Yeah. And it's very emotional. But when All For One says that, like, all my focus is on you, that's scary because you know how powerful he is. And then the place blows up. And you knew that Deku wasn't gonna die. Yeah. And then nobody else went in with him, so you know nobody was gonna die.
Yeah. So and that's where that chapter ended. Is where the mansion blowing up. Then we get this.
This week's chapter is the journey of Deku into Batman.
So at this point, if you've been keeping up with this story, Deku had become Spider-Man. Like, his abilities are equivalent to Spider-Man. Super strength, super speed. Now he's able to do the Black Whip, which he's able to, basically swing around, capture people, capture things, right? And then he also has the danger sense, which is basically like the Spidey sense, in which he can detect danger before it arrives to him. So he's basically he is Peter Parker. So he's basically Spider-Man, right? But we finally got to this chapter, and they're all sitting around the heroes, Endeavor, Mount Lady, Kamori Woods, Best Jeanist, and Hawks. They're sitting around talking, and they're trying to come up with a plan because they know, like, Deku's
the target, and Deku's the target, one that can find them.
Yeah.
Because he's their target. So he's the one hunting them down, but at the same time, he's the one that they're after.
Yep.
But he's not hiding. He's going at, not even on plain sight, he's going at them through the shadows. But like it's all on Deku, and they hate the fact that they can't really do nothing about it. And then we get this little bit of monologue between all of the groups, and basically they're stumped. They're adults, but they can't help this child. They're heroes, but they can't help this child. And then the whole world hates the heroes because of the past arc, the big war that happened in the last arc, which is amazing. One of the, again, like Jujutsu, My Hero just came in. That big arc that Jujutsu had, and then My Hero also, dude, that was a great months.
Yeah, they were running at the same time.
Yeah,
they were running at the same time.
It was insane. It was really crazy. Good. And My Hero had a big war, just like Jujutsu, but I think My Heroes was bigger. Society just turned on the heroes, and then you got heroes quitting left and right.
That was surprising to me. The fact that guy quit, bro. I forget his name, but he, you've seen him in the anime. He wears the giant like black and white, the like black and yellow lines, the warning lines. He's a big guy. He quit. He could not take it anymore, and he's just like, I keep trying to save these people, and then we keep getting backlash from people. He said like 10 fans can help me, be positive, but it just takes that one person to make it all negative, and he just couldn't take it, and he quit, bro. He freaking quit, and I was so pissed. I'm like, bro, like, these heroes are quitting.
I love the fact that they're humanizing. It's just like when we see celebrities. Like, a celebrity can be at the top. Just one wrong tweet that can get an army against you on social media, and it's hard. It's hard to be with those few voices when there's just so much other negative noise. The few positive against the whole negative. But it depends on the mentality. It depends on the mentality. To see someone that huge, that dude is so big, and say that at the end, I'm just still human, and he calls it quits. I love that narrative storytelling, because I'd rather it be depicted in fiction than reality. Exactly. It's sad when it happens in reality, but in fiction, it's incredible. Yeah,
you see it, and it's like, man, that's some dope character storytelling right there.
And then we cut to Deku.
Well, they had called Endeavor, and he's like, what's going on? And All Might is with Deku, and Deku, he lets Endeavor know. He's like, hey, another guy just tried to come after Deku, but
Deku beat him down half to death. Dude, he beat this man. Like, this man was like leaning, and he was all bleeding. And Deku, the way Deku looked, holy crap, dude. So he's still wearing his hero outfit, but it's in tatters. It's torn to shred. We don't ever see Deku in the light. He's always in the dark. He's always in shadows. He's shown in panels. He's always in the shadows. Like Batman, the shadows are my allies.
Deku has essentially become so Batman. Edgelord. It's beautiful. It's so great. And this is the part that almost had me tearing up, because like All Might, he's walking away, and then All Might is like, hey kid, wait, you haven't eaten.
Yeah, like I thought he was like trying to stop Deku, but then like, the next line is, you haven't eaten your lunch, and he has a lunchbox. I was like, what?
And then Deku finally, like Deku's been realizing this entire time, people are gonna keep getting hurt because of me. And he tells All Might for the very first time, and this is such great character progression, because at the beginning of this story, it was always All Might this, All Might that. I need to be around All Might. He needs to keep teaching me. And it's finally gotten to the point to where he turns to All Might and he says, I'm gonna be okay. You don't need to be with me anymore. I was like,
and then he
tells him, before he runs off, he tells him, at this point, I can do everything you can do.
Oh yeah,
he tells him and more. He's like, I can do everything 100%.
Basically,
he can. And then
basically he's saying like, you've taught me all that you could, and I've surpassed you. But he's not saying it like in a bad term. He's just laying it out
as it
There's nothing left to teach me. But I think he's saying it just so All Might can be more confident in leaving Deku alone.
Yeah,
he needs to be left alone, because everybody around him is gonna get injured, which is why. Well, you're hearing us talk about it now, so I don't know why you're still here. But spoilers, he left the school. He left the group. He left the school. He abandoned everything and is running solo. He's Batmaning everything.
Yeah. So, and then as he's walking off, or he Spider-Man's off. He Spider-Man'd off, bro.
Oh, and what I found out was All My Faults and the lunchbox.
The lunch, the box he prepared for him.
Food.
This was beautiful, because somebody was listening on this conversation, Stain listened on the entire conversation.
And this is crazy because it's like, and maybe people thought like, oh, Stain's gonna kill All Might. He has no reason to kill All Might. All Might is not a hero, so Stain's not gonna go after All Might. I don't even think Stain would work with All For One. I think Stain will try to team up with Deku. He's like, you became what I told you were gonna become, or what I wanted you to become. That'll be insane, because a lot of things that are going on and a lot of things that have been happening was due to Stain, even before we knew it.
It was crazy that we only got to see a little bit of Stain, but he was the entire catalyst of what is happening now. Like he called it from the beginning of when we met Stain, and they introduced his character.
Almost all the people in Shigaraki's group look up to Stain.
And now, like, he has come back because he's out of jail. He got broken out. Deku takes off, and it just shows Stain was listening into those conversations. Deku takes off, and it cuts to another panel to where you hear like villains on the street talking about like, hey, have you heard? Like, there's this hero that helps people. Apparently, he has a lot of quirks. And he's like almost like All For One. He's saving people.
His costume is all tattered up.
His costume is tattered up, and then when you see him, you wouldn't think it was your hero. And then it ends the chapter
Deku walking in the streets, all in dark,
and you see how it tells you that line specifically. You wouldn't even think he was a hero, and you see that, and you're just like, this is not what a hero looks like. When you watch Batman or movies, you hear the low time thugs talking about, oh, have you heard about that guy? He runs around in the shadows. You got to look out for him. This is basically what's happening now. He is Batman.
Deku is Spider-Man and Batman combined into one. It's amazing. Same abilities. Now the characteristics of Batman.
And hands down,
my favorite superhero. And then, as JT said, I love One Piece with all my heart. I love it. I've been a One Piece fan forever, but at this point in time, my hero sits at the top as king of Shonen Jump right now, just because of the way this story is going. The character development for all the characters, the way that Deku is, it just sits at the top of Shonen Jump right now. And it's just so great. It gave me chills just to see Deku tattered up and almost vigilante looking. Yeah, and it's like, honestly, my niece and nephew, my brother-in-law started showing my niece and nephew, and they love My Hero Academia, mainly because Deku is, like I said, I've told you this before personally, there's no better portrayal of a boy becoming a hero than Deku that I've ever read, talking about all this Shonen anime manga. That hero's journey, none have been portrayed better than Deku. I feel personally. Yeah, my favorite portrayal of a hero's journey, of a boy becoming a hero, not a man, a hero, it has been Deku. And it's amazing and more emotional when you think back how his journey started and how hopeful he was, how much he wanted to become a hero. And looking at him now is nothing what you would expect of the outcome of where he was going to end up, or where you wanted him to end up.
At this point, he's starting to do things out of rage, because he's, as All For One said, he is crumbling.
And that's the beauty of the villains of All For One and Shigaraki. They have broken this boy's future. They've broken this boy's world, and so they must be stopped.
They must be stopped at any cost. Deku himself hasn't given up hope. It's just that it's getting harder for him to continue his days, not in terms of giving up, but he's walking. Basically, what I'm trying to say is he's still trying to help people, but he's walking that line. Right now, he's walking that line between a hero and a vigilante, because at this point it makes it seem,
I feel like he's more vigilante completely, but the fact that he still has his hero heart, he hasn't lost heart, he hasn't lost hope. Has vigilante, has dark, has everything it seems, and especially himself is being portrayed, his feelings haven't changed.
Exactly.
That's the craziest thing.
So I wouldn't, the main reason I wouldn't say he's a vigilante right now is because
there is no hero society.
No, because he hasn't killed anybody. I feel like once you kill somebody,
Batman doesn't kill his opponents and he's a vigilante.
But that's in the world of like where that's the heroes don't really like, it's, you have cops and stuff, right? He's going outside the law. At this point, it's a lawless place. So
that's what I was mentioning.
Yeah, so there's no hero society here.
There still is, but it's not as strong as it was before.
So, but he's still trying to follow the rules, right? That's why I say I feel like he's still trying to follow the rules. Like whatever rules that he has in his kind of morals right now, I'm saying he's walking that thin line because of how he left that one guy in this chapter.
Yeah.
He was badly beaten to where that's not something Deku would do, right? Before. But now he's walking that line, and I don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah,
but I feel like Shoto and Bakugo
are the only ones that can either not relate to him,
but bring him, like kind of bring him out.
Bakugo is a loose cannon, and Shoto has that daddy issues. So in terms of emotions, they can kind of accept Deku for what he's become and kind of pull him back.
Yeah,
and probably the only ones that have the power to.
Yeah, the only two, honestly,
at his age.
Yeah, so
he's not gonna join the villains.
No, definitely not. No, he's, as you said, he still has that same feelings that he's had.
He has hope. His morals are still there. It's just the way he's doing things. It's a little bit rougher.
Yeah, so it's crazy that's the same character.
I can't wait for this upcoming season. I just want to see people's reactions, and I'm not on social media and anything. I really don't care. But when I am interested in what people think about a show that I like, then I look it up myself.
Yeah.
My hero trending on Twitter or my hero on Twitter, and I just see different people's and websites where I see anime news and stuff like that, and just see people's comments.
Yeah,
and I'm like, cool.
And then sometimes you read those comments and you feel like I shouldn't have read those comments.
Care. No, I don't
really?
care. I really don't care. The reason I don't have social media is because I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Like honestly, it's not like something about being mentally strong, or I'm just really good at not caring.
I just see comments about like stories that I like, and I'm like,
One Piece not being the greatest Shonen series of all time, and then people bring up Demon Slayer. I don't care. That's not gonna change my mind. What I think, and I'm stating it.
Same.
But I'm not gonna spend the time trying to argue changing someone's mind. I love Code Geass. My favorite anime of all time is Code Geass. It's not perfect. So when everybody tells me, I want people to tell me what's wrong with that show. Tell me what's the bad of that show, so I can get a new perspective. What's bad about One Piece? Too long. That's just a lame. That's just
so
lame
that's where my qualm lies. Is I don't like. I'm the same as you in terms of I can hear somebody out in there in terms of their opinions. But if it's something like really dumb, like you got it. Like if it's something.
So that's how far I think that their fandom for anime is. Look at all my animes in this room, right? And all the mangas that I've read are countless. This is why we started. One of the reasons why I wanted to start this YouTube channel when you brought that idea up to me. The thing is, when someone tells me, "Oh, One Piece is too long," then the conversation is right there. It's a personal problem. It's not something that can be fixed.
It's a personal problem.
And I'm like, oh, there's one fan that can't be changed. Producer-san, or my friend, producer-san.
Our non-existent producer-san.
Our producer-san tells me Future Diary is his favorite anime of all time.
Excuse me?
I know he's watched a bit of One Piece. He's watched Bleach. He's watched Naruto. He's watched all these great Shonen animes. And then he says Future Diary is the greatest of all time. His favorite of all time. And I'm like, I see people liking Future Diary. It is one, like the biggest yandere show of all time. For someone to say
it's the greatest thing.
Oh, I usually see Shonen animes. It's usually a Shonen anime.
Yeah.
Because that's just, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Or a comedy, something that brings a light mood. But Future Diary is not that. So when someone tells me,
it makes me laugh. I'm just kind of messed up.
Yeah, but again, I'm not judging. I just love the fact that someone's favorite anime is Future Diary.
Yeah,
I've never heard that or seen that in comment sections. Just the fact that he told me something random that I didn't expect.
Yeah,
or it just caught me off guard because I can't see it. I like Future Diary. I freaking own it. It's right there. We're staring at it, but I can't see it. And with that, we could end this first episode with that.
Yeah, that was our recap of the latest amazing shonen chapters that have been going on
this week.
Yeah, we will keep doing this when these chapters release, and then also we'll do this for other topics that we want to talk about. So keep an eye out for that, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Out.
Adios.
Bleach suck.